It has now been 2 weeks since the release of the Blood Money update, and instead of me giving my opinion and review on everything, I asked you guys what you think is good and bad over on the community tab. And today we are going to be going through all of your guys' opinions and actually put together what fans really think about this Blood Money update. Before I do get into the video, if you enjoy the content here and want to see a bit more from me, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. I upload Red Dead videos every single week, giving you the latest updates and the latest tips in going through Red Dead Online. So if you do want to see that, then make sure you are following the channel. Getting back into the video, a week before the Blood Money update was released, I asked you guys what your initial thoughts were on the Blood Money content. This was how you were feeling based on what was released so far, such as the trailer and the different newswires. The response was mostly positive. Most of you were looking forward to the content drop, but some of you were very hesitant to be excited. But now that the update has been released and it has been 2 weeks for the dust to settle, let's actually go through everything. Over on the YouTube community tab, I posted asking for your guys' opinions. It says this: "Hey everyone, in a previous post before the Blood Money update, I asked you all about your initial thoughts and feelings. Now that it has been 1 week since the release, let me know what your thoughts, whether it be good or bad. Which parts of the update do you hate, what do you like, and what would you change? I'll be putting together a video comparing pre-update versus post-update." Yet again, thank you to everyone who commented or interacted with this post. Unfortunately, I can't include every comment in this video because there was over 100 comments. The comments that have been included in this video don't just represent the opinion of one person, but there seems to be many people thinking very similar. The first comment comes from Gaminated, and they say it's pretty much just stranger missions combined with telegraph missions. And there's a lot of players that believe the exact same as Gaminated. This is 100% true. A lot of the stuff that was part of stranger missions is now just reworked to be part of the new Blood Money update. But the thing is, it's also not just the Blood Money update. This has been the case for every content drop so far. There's gameplay mechanics and features as part of stranger missions that were then included as part of the bounty hunter. There's also pretty much exact replicas of missions as part of stranger missions that were then used for the naturalist. Now, the reason that I say this isn't to make you think any different, it's just me highlighting that in the future there will always be content that gets reused. This is because it's easier, it's cheaper, and it saves a lot of time. Creating new content to supply the demand of an update lasting 6 months is just never going to happen. That's where they reuse certain aspects of content whilst adding new content on top, and it becomes a hybrid of sorts. It isn't just Red Dead that goes through this is also GTA, but on top of that, every other game company in the world, or at least successful game companies. I think a big problem with this content comes from what Arthur Correa says. They say, "I'm happy with the new missions, since there's more variety of what I can do to earn gold besides Bounty Hunter. However, I would say there isn't really much replayability. As for Capitali, I think it has to be a grind because otherwise people would complete the content even faster and stop playing after a couple hours." I think the problem of reusing content such as stranger missions, which was inevitably going to happen, the issue now comes with the lack of replayability. Every single game update has a peak and then it starts to die down. Even games that get updated much more regularly compared to the likes of Red Dead. But we can't deny that replayability is a problem here, especially when you are supposed to be grinding Capitali to go on and move on to other types of missions such as the opportunities. The opportunities have more replayability than the Blood Money missions. You do at least have options in the way that you want to go. If you just want to ride over to the location, take what you need to take and get the hell out of there, you can. If you want to go for an ambush approach, you can. If you want to distract guards, you can. If you want to free prisoners, you can. There is a bit more freedom with them, which does bring a bit more replayability. But the replayability should be part of those Blood Money missions, as you'll be playing them a lot more compared to the opportunities, as you'll need to get Capitali from those missions to then go into the opportunities. A lot of it feels like it's the complete opposite of what it should be. The next comment comes from the Big Bird III, and they say the stranger missions definitely needed a rework to add to the foundation of Red Dead Online. But it just sucks we waited 7 months for minor details that should have been in the game since the Frontier Pursuits. The Big Bird III is correct in saying that the stranger missions did need a rework. There was an audience retention issue for players as soon as they did finish the tutorial and then get put into free roam. They were able to complete the main missions, but after completing those main missions, you get around about 8 gold bars. For you to enter your first role, you need at least 15 gold bars. That 7 gold bar difference doesn't sound like a crazy big deal, but those are the hardest gold bars you have to earn within the game. You have to go through stranger missions, complete awards, and go through daily challenges when you're most likely on a low daily challenge streak. The new Blood Money update is supposed to fit within the middle of that and bridge the gap between going into new content, going into outlaw content, and then going into the roles. It's why you can enter it the second you start a new Red Dead Online account. So yes, I do believe that this should have been something as part of the Frontier Pursuits update, but at the same time, there was no way of knowing. This is game iteration where they have to go back and make changes because they found issues with the content that they've pushed. The next comment comes from Wimpy Scissors 43, and they say, I really feel like the missions themselves should reward Capitali. 100% agree on this. The only way that you can get Capitali is based on a chance when going through these missions or free roam events. The only guaranteed way to get Capitali is if you spend gold bars at a fence or you spend gold bars on a quick draw club. Even if it was just 1 Capitali per mission, that's still so much better than going into some of these missions, heading over to the exact location where there's a camp lockbox, looting it, and only having a chance of Capitali. Don't get me wrong, more often than not you're able to loot Capitali from the lockbox, but it's still based on a chance. There is a chance you don't get anything. Instead, you can just pick up some jewelry or some other miscellaneous item. The next comment comes from Dominic Wolstenholme, who says it's way bad. Basically stranger missions and a pointless new currency. Feels like I've already finished the update. I think Dominic represents a lot of players playing the game currently. We've already talked about stranger missions, but now let's actually look into the Capitali currency. As already briefly mentioned, there was an audience retention issue for as soon as you complete the tutorial and go through the main missions. After that point, you then need to go into the hardest grind in the game for you to get gold bars to go into the roles. The new content fits perfectly within that zone where you have to grind and bridges the gap between the main missions and the new roles. They can't make the new content require you to have gold bars to buy opportunities for you to keep on going through it, because the whole purpose is that eventually you build up enough gold for you to eventually push to the roles. But with how they have done Capitali, it does make it somewhat pointless. The only reason to get Capitali is to go into the opportunities, but if you've completed the opportunities already multiple times, with the lack of replayability which we've already discussed in this video, then there's no point in you going into these opportunities, making it pointless for you to go into anything within this update to grind Capitali. I hope at some point in the future there is something else built on top of this. I don't just mean new opportunities within the missions because it just replicates the exact same issue, but I'm talking about if we're going to add new currencies into the game, make it so that there's more ways to use that currency. It doesn't even need to be the situation where we buy into new types of missions. We could very easily have new types of items which are added to all the current shops within the game which can only be bought with Capitali. That would actually give purpose for players to go through these Blood Money missions, to go through all the different dynamic events, just so they can build up as much Capitali as they physically can. That way they can then move over to those shops and buy the most exclusive items. It also makes sense from a business standpoint because those that do have a lot of gold within the game, they can go over to the fence and buy Capitali with gold. And then they can go over to those shops and buy the items with Capitali. There just needs to be something more on the currency, otherwise it is exactly what Dominic says. It is a pointless new currency. The next comment comes from Kevin Red. Rockstar told us exactly what we were getting and they delivered exactly that, with more of the same promise. Don't understand why everyone let their imaginations run away with them and have a GTA-like wishlist. Crazy, I'm still enjoying the new content. Now a lot of you guys watching this video may not agree with this, but Kevin's got a point. We knew exactly what content was coming, so much so that we even did a video here on the channel talking about the truth about robberies coming to Red Dead Online. This video was posted on the 30th of May. Over a month before the update released, and it said exactly what was happening. But still, players expected free roam heists. And despite how cool it sounds to be able to go into a heist as part of free roam, it's never ever going to happen, so why are you expecting it? It's not even a case that Rockstar doesn't have the budget or doesn't have the quality to actually do it in game, they can. It's just it brings so many design issues and so many optimization problems that there's just no point to do it. And it's not even a case that it's just Red Dead with this situation, GTA has the exact same issue. There are some things that have been added with this new update that I question. I think there's some things that can be done a lot better than the way that they're currently done. But having the layout for a robbery within a separate mission is the smartest thing. There is nothing you can do to change that. If that was done in free roam with many other players in the exact same lobby, players would start complaining about being griefed. But on top of that, you'll have issues where you're not able to spawn as many lawmen in. You'll only have a max of 3 to 4 per player, which does bring problems when the Covenant Emerald has round about 30 to 40. If 30 to 40 lawmen was going to be spawned within free roam, you now have optimization issues, game will most likely crash, and you'll have 10 times as many issues as what we currently have with this new update release. But yet players still expect this content to be added to the game without actually thinking about the problems that come along with it. And this is just the beginning with the design and optimization issues. If you do want to see everything broken down, I'll leave a link in the description down below back to that previous video, because now we know everything that was said within that video ended up being 100% true with what was delivered. And the final comment for today's video comes from Riley Loudrum. And they say, I look at it as the update isn't entirely rolled out yet, so I'll judge it when it's fully put together. We still have a lot of content to go through. The main bulk of this update has been pushed, but we still have another 3 quick draw clubs, we still have opportunity missions, and this takes us all the way to Halloween content, and that Halloween content will take us all the way into the Christmas update. Sprinkled in the middle of all of this, we know that there's a lot more content to come, such as new types of showdown series and new types of mission types. For those of you that are still enjoying the content and still playing through it, there's a lot more to go through. The update is not finished yet, so Riley is correct. And personally, I'm excited to see what comes next. Now, as said at the beginning of the video, unfortunately I can't include everyone's comments. After reading through a lot of them, most players are not too happy with the content. There are a lot of complaints from players which I think are reasonable. There's certain things that are done which just doesn't make sense. Other things such as content requests which are just impossible and way out of scope for Red Dead Online, they're never going to happen. I'm sorry to break dreams, but that's the way it is. For those of you enjoying the new content, keep on going through it, have fun. There's still going to be lots of other types of missions and showdown series and loads of opportunities to be added to the game over the next couple of months. And the good thing with this summer update is that we'll get at least decent drip-fed content to take us all the way to Christmas. Always ends up being slightly better drip-fed content compared to what we get at the Christmas update. If you do have an opinion which is different to anything that we've covered here in this video, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. Anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going to see ya.